Hi, I'm Lynette and welcome. Today I'm going to be showing you an eyeshadow tutorial on this look right here, created using the BPerfect Cosmetics Carnival III Love Tahiti palette in collaboration with Stacey Marie. Now this isn't a new palette. This palette was released over the summer, but the launch was a complete disaster, so I wasn't able to get my hands on it then. But I'm glad I didn't, because I actually ended up getting it at a nice discount. The palette retails for, I believe, $49 and some change on the BPerfect Cosmetics website. I got this palette from Beauty Bay, and on Beauty Bay it's $40. I don't know why, but I ain't mad at it. And then Beauty Bay happened to be having a 20% off sale when I went there. So I ended up getting this palette for $36.23, which I think is great. I mean, I think that's a great price to pay for this palette that has 31 matte shades, 4 pressed pigments, 3 metallics, and 2 high pigment shimmers. So you're getting 35, 38, you're getting 40. Probably says that right on the front here, right? Somewhere. You're getting 40 eyeshadows in here for $36 and some change, which I think is amazing. And then I think at $40 you get free shipping to the United States. I want to say it's $40. So of course I had to order another palette to make the free shipping. But anywho, we're talking about this palette today. So I was a little anxious about ordering from Beauty Bay. I've never ordered from them before, and some years ago probably I heard at least 2 YouTubers had said that their experience with Beauty Bay was bad because it took a really long time for them to get their items. So I was a little anxious about that, but I went on ahead and pulled the trigger, and I'm glad that I did, because the same day as my order I got a shipping notification. And the palette, Beauty Bay is in England, and the palette didn't take, didn't take a really long time for me to get it. I don't remember how long, but it didn't take a long time for it to get here, and it got here all in one piece. So for my first time ordering from Beauty Bay, I have to say I had a really positive experience. And yeah, so I have the Carnival 3. Now, you know, if you've been watching me for any amount of time, you know I have the Carnival XL Pro palette, also from BPerfect, and I absolutely love this palette, but you know that too. You've seen it several times on my channel just this year alone. So when they came out with the Carnival 3, I was super excited and just knew once I saw the palette that I was gonna get it. And the palette it's a little smaller than the Carnival XL. So the Carnival XL does have 40 eyeshadows in it, and then it has 3 highlighters, so it's a little bigger. And the Carnival 3 just has, well, not just has, but it has 40 eyeshadows, no highlighters. And the packaging is just really nice. It's a sturdy cardboard packaging, and the front gives you the colors of all the eyeshadows, and it also has little stars that indicate which shadows are not meant for eye use, which probably just means they will stain if used. So if those types of eyeshadows concern you, then you need to know that there are some of those types of shadows are in this palette. And the packaging is really pretty. I mean, look how beautiful this is. I think they really nailed like the colors of Carnival, and it looks very tropic to me, very tropical. And then again, the back has the eyeshadow names and colors and ingredients on it. And then when you open it up, you do get a nice sized mirror, because it's not a small palette. And then the eyeshadows, so pretty, this color story. You get 31 vibrant matte shades, 4 duo shift pressed pigments, 3 metallics, and 2 high pigment shimmers. So you're getting in total 9 shimmer metallic type eyeshadows and 31 mattes. And the palette, to me, I mean, especially upon first glance, it's really purple heavy, and maybe those are the colors that I initially see, like I'm drawn to when I first see it. But it's got a lot of oranges, it's got a lot of purples and bright pinks, then you have some greens, and then you have some more neutral colors here, a couple of browns and copper shades, and then you have, like they said, all these different shimmer formulas. I'm not going to break them down here because I don't want this video to be too long. But some of these shades, these shadows, like this one here, this one, and this one definitely seem more like topper shades than actual metallics or shimmers. And then you have this one seems like a metallic, but a high metallic shadow. This one seems like a more traditional metallic, and this one. So as the palette says, it does come with a few different shimmer, metallic, glitter formulas in it. And the color story isn't the only thing. Actually, the color story isn't the biggest thing that excited me about this palette, because I was hesitant to get it because it has so many pinks and purples, and I'm kind of like, oh, I already got a lot of that already. I know I got a lot of everything already, but I felt like I have a lot of these type of shadows already because I love purple eyeshadow and pink. But I think I was even more excited about getting this palette for the formula. The formula in the Carnival XL palette, and it was the only other BPerfect Cosmetics palette I own. I love that formula so much, and aside from the very versatile color story in this palette, which I will show you, the formula is one of the things that really makes me want to use this palette over and over again. So I was excited to see if the formula in this palette would be consistent with the formula in the XL palette. So I will be showing you a tutorial on this palette, and if you're interested in hearing my thoughts and impressions upon using this palette for the first time today, then stick around after the tutorial. It's so hard for me to say that. And I will be sharing my thoughts with you. If you'd like to see how I created this look today using the BPerfect Carnival III Love Tahiti Stacey Marie palette, then keep on watching. Starting off today's look with the P.Louise base. This is in the shade Rumour 3. And I'm going to pat that out all over my eye using my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush. Going into the palette, and I'm going to take this shadow. This is Clay, and I'm going to first tap that into the crease, and then I'm going to use back and forth windshield wiper motions to blend it out in the crease, and small circular motions to blend it out on the outer V area. And this is a beautifully pigmented, like spicy mustard warm yellow. Very, very pretty, very happy it showed up so well on my skin, even without using a white eye base. Now I'm taking Bamboo, and I'm going to use that to blend out the edges of Clay. And this is sort of like a yellow lime green shadow. Very, very pretty. I think it pairs well with this Clay shade. And just putting that shadow a little bit onto the outer edges of Clay and using short circular motions to blend it out. Now I'm taking Key Lime, and I'm going to place that on the lid. This is another matte shade. This is predominantly an all matte eye look, except for the shimmer I'm going to put in the inner corner. And I'm just patting this, trying to do more patting and less swiping. Not always good with that, but I'm patting that all over the lid. And this is a beautiful, I would say it's a neon green shade. Really, really pretty. And I'm just tapping to continue to build up the color onto the lid. It looks like I'm experiencing a little bit of patchiness here. I'm not sure why I didn't have this problem on the other eye, so I just continue to build and pat in an effort to smooth out any patchiness. And now I'm taking the shadow Khaki, and I'm going to place that on the outer V area, making sure to also blend it onto the eyelid. And this is a nice grungy green brown shadow. Really, really nice. And just continuing to pat and place that onto the lid and blend it up into the crease. And now I'm going back in with Clay, that yellow shadow we started off with, because I wanted to make sure that didn't get lost with all of the greens and the blending. And now blending out the edges of that color with no additional shadow on that brush. And now I'm adding my liner in the waterline, and this is Urban Decay, the 24/7 Glide On Pencil in the color Freak, my absolute favorite color of all the eyeliner pencils I think I have in my collection. And here I'm going in with Khaki. That's that grungy green brown, the darkest shade I used in the outer V, and I'm just extending that onto the lower lash line 3/4 of the way across. And now I'm taking Bamboo and just filling in the rest of the lower lash line, that quarter, and the inner part of the lower lash line, blending them together. And now I'm going in with Tahiti green, and this is that beautiful lime green metallic shadow, and I'm using this dry, and this is going to serve as my inner corner highlight. I'm happy to report that I didn't have any fallout from that shadow, even though I used it dry. And this is the completed look, just mascara, and I tight lined with a brown eyeliner pencil. That is the look, and I have to say I absolutely love it. I really, really do love it. I had different ideas about well, I knew straight away that I wanted to use this section of the palette here because we are in fall and not summer. So I wanted to show you that even though this has a lot of bright colors in it, a lot of shadows that are definitely appropriate and lean maybe towards summer and spring, I wanted to show you that there are also other shadows in this palette that if you want to do a fall or winter palette eyeshadow look, you can using this palette. So I did concentrate on this area over here. Of course, these greens, the greens always speak to me. And I really like the look that I came out with. Now, I wasn't sure if this shade here, this grungy khaki green brown shade, was going to work as an outer V. Would be deep enough for me as an outer V eyeshadow, but I think it is. I liked it as such. And then this shade here, Clay, this really warm, like spicy mustard color right here in the crease, really, really nice. I love the tone of it. I love the fact that it showed up, that it's pigmented. This shade here, Bamboo, another one of those grungy olive greens that I used in the crease, just really, really pretty. Actually, these shadows these colors here, Khaki and Bamboo, do kind of remind me of the colors in the Juvia's Place Tribe palette, which is a palette that I love. So if you don't have that palette, you can get similar you'll get similar shadows in this palette. That palette, as you know, has been discontinued. So as you could see in the tutorial, all of the shadows that I used today worked wonderfully. And the mattes were really pigmented but blended out very nicely. I didn't have any problems layering, although I didn't have any problems layering any of the shadows. Although on my right eye, for some reason, when I placed new key lime, this beautiful bright green here, I don't know, it seemed like it was kind of patchy to me. It doesn't look patchy now, but it seemed like it was a little patchy. But as I continued to layer it on, it did adhere to my skin, and I think it looks good. I had no such problems on the left eye. Maybe it's just my eye, I don't know. But yeah, it worked out. I don't think the shadows look patchy. You let me know in the comments below if you see something different. But I think as matte shadows, I wanted to do a shimmer. You know, I was going to use that Tahiti green that I used in the inner corner. I was going to use that on my lid. But I decided to do an all matte look because I really enjoy all matte looks. But they are the most anxiety provoking and can be the more difficult looks to accomplish because you run the risk of there being patchiness and there being difficulty to blend, or the shadows not blending together or layering well. So I was a little anxious to do this look, but I didn't have any problems with it. I really didn't have any problems with any of the mattes. Tahiti green is the only metallic, and this is one of the traditional metallic formulas in the palette. I used that in my inner corner. I used it dry and didn't have any issues with it. So of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so of the 40 eyeshadows in here, I only used 5, but I'm just getting started. But of those 5 shades, I really enjoyed using them all. I found them easy to use, and I think just from those 5 shades, they are consistent with the formula in the Carnival XL palette. And this experience and this look just makes me more eager to use this palette again. Now, if you don't have either palette and maybe you're thinking about getting one and you want to know, you know, which one do you think you should get? This palette, I don't know if I mentioned that, this palette is $58. So that might be a determining factor while you're considering which one to buy. $58, $40 on eBay, or $49 and change on the BPerfect website. So these are the two palettes side by side, so you can get an idea of what they look like. I feel like with the pinks, you do get some similar shades in the Carnival XL palette that you do in this palette. And I mean, it's going to be difficult, I think, to not get any similar shades when you have so many eyeshadows in a palette. And if I was going to choose between the two, oh, it's kind of hard since I've only used this palette once. But I think I would probably choose the XL palette because I think you might have just a little more versatility than this palette, because the Carnival palette is a little heavier, I feel, on the purples and the pinks, and this one you get kind of a little bit of everything. But with that said, as I said before, you can definitely, this is definitely a more versatile palette than it looks on first glance. And so I could definitely see, like this column here, I could definitely see these using these eyeshadows for a beautiful warm fall look. And yeah, I'm excited to do some pinks, some purples. I can see some monochromatic looks I can do. I can see a lot of different looks that I can do. And if you break this up into quadrants, into quads, so you have a quad there right here of purples that you could do a look with, and then you have this quad here. You have a black in this palette, which is nice. This grungy green quad, which is what I worked from today, in addition to this shadow here. So you definitely have versatility, more versatility than you might think upon first glance at looking at this palette. And so far I'm loving the formulas. Now, I didn't use any of the high shimmer or the topper shades, like this and this and this one that seem in the swatches seem to be more of a topper shades. Didn't use any of those today, but I plan to do so of course going forward. Let me know in the comments below if you would like to see me do any other looks with this palette so that you can see perhaps how those shadows perform. All in all, so very, very, very happy to have finally gotten my hands on this palette at a nice discount. And yeah, I'm loving it so far, loving it so far. Still have a lot of eyeshadows yet to use before I can form a more informed opinion, but so far so good. If you liked this video, then please give it a like and consider subscribing, because I do eyeshadow tutorials, hauls, swatches, and reviews here every Saturday. I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope to see you again next week. Until then, bye-bye.